streams get significantly fewer views than the videos. Like, as in, if you look at the history.
We're also live now, actually, Rob. I've just thrown you under the bus and made you live halfway through a conversation.
Have you noticed the last... Oh, no, you've gone all Dalek again. Is it Dalek for people out there on the interwebs when they turn up?
Is anyone watching? Can you hear me okay?
I can make out what you're saying, but it does sound terrible.
Okay. If we have these bad technical issues, this probably isn't going to work, is it? The problem is there's not much else I can do because I've just restarted the router. I did say I was going to cable it up, but that hasn't happened.
It might just be for me via StreamYard. If it's going out and you sound okay.
That's true, and we've got the audio. We've still got the audio version, so that'll be okay because we're both recording locally. It might just be a car crash for people watching on YouTube, which. But please do come and watch us on YouTube. I know that's not much of I'm not really selling it today, but this is 8 or 16. And no one's watching at the minute, Rob, anyway, so it doesn't matter. We can do whatever we like. And we're a good 11 minutes late because of me, so happy days. Happy Friday, anyway. Where do we start? Nothing's happened, really, has it, in the last... Or has stuff happened apart from Tesla's robots?
Oh, you're really bad now, Mark.
What? It doesn't even tell me that I've got a bad connection here.
Are you using the built-in mics?
That's a good question.
Because you sound very good.
Yeah, I am using the built-in mic. I thought you said I sounded terrible. Does it sound okay now?
Well, when it's not going all like, going through a tunnel.
Terrible. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like the built-in mics.
It definitely is the built-in mic.
Hold on, let me leave and rejoin. Maybe it's me.
Okay, I'll waffle on by myself. To myself, because no one's watching, actually. So now Rob's gone. If we decide to keep this in, if we decide not to delete this version of the podcast on YouTube... oh, no, Rob's back. I was filling dead air there. Let's add him back. Rob, you there?
Howdy.
Is that any better?
Well, I mean, it's intermittent, isn't it? But yes, right. Should we do a podcast?
Let's do it. Yeah, this is the podcast already, isn't it? Ironically, we've had some good reviews, some nice comments on the podcast app that you've picked out.
Well, yeah, I don't know how I. I think it was because the last one went out late due to behind-the-scenes technical issues, didn't it? So I noticed that it hadn't gone out on time on the Saturday as it usually does. And while I was in there looking at the 8 or 16 podcast page on the Apple Podcasts app, I noticed that back in April and May, we had a couple of really nice reviews. So from Carl St. James and Johnny Basic, which is very nice. So if you're still listening, Carl and Johnny, thank you very much. That made my day. But yeah, no, I don't see that stuff. I don't know whether it sort of crops up in your admin podcast backend, which I don't look at.
No, it doesn't really. The podcast thing is a bit rubbish from a creator's point of view because you don't really know what the true numbers are, and you can only see the comments if you do what you did and go and look at them. But no, I've read them this morning and they're very nice. Particularly Carl's, the fact that he says 2 guys who you could be sat in a pub with talking about tech, no nonsense. That was the idea originally, wasn't it? That was what we kind of...
That's what we were aiming for, yeah.
That's what we conceived when we first started. Yeah, no, it's very nice. Nice to get nice reviews. And we just need to sort out the technical problems, don't we? After 4 years, however long it's been. What's happened anyway? What's going on?
Tech podcast, don't actually know how to use anything. Brilliant.
Yeah, can't make tech work. Yeah, what's been happening? All the Apple stuff's finished for now, isn't it? For the moment.
Yeah, well, all the rumours are pointing to a late October, a late October event with availability in November for the M4 refresh.
Yeah,
which does need to happen because it is silly that the only device you can get an M4 in currently is an iPad Pro that just can't make use of it at all.
Yeah.
The most taxing thing I've done on my M4 iPad Pro is draw Bluey with my daughter in Procreate.
That's a worthwhile endeavour, isn't it?
Well, I say I don't know where it is.
Yeah, you can't show it. You can't say that and not show us.
I would show you, but I don't know where it is. So I'll have to. I'll post it on the Discord or something.
Absolutely. I've done nothing taxing with mine at all. I've just written blog posts on it, and that's it. Take a couple of photos at press events, and yeah, literally nothing. I don't even think I've tried Final Cut Pro on it or Logic Pro.
Do you know, I was going to try Final Cut Pro with the multiple camera thingy. So that was part of the motivation for keeping it instead of sending it back. I was like, right, well, I'll probably get an iPhone 16 and then I'll have 2 iPhones and I'll try that multi-camera thing just for yucks. But obviously the iPhone 16 was rubbish, so I sent it back. So yeah, so I haven't tried the Final Cut either.
So your iPhone 16's gone back. You haven't kept it.
Yeah, no, it went back. I took it to the Apple store in Amazing Stoke.
Amazing Stoke. And you don't miss it? You don't miss the camera control?
No, it wound me up. It annoyed me. It was really badly implemented. I did not enjoy it in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, in the 2 weeks since we last spoke, I've barely used it. The only thing I do with it is get into the camera app. That's it. And when I'm in the camera app, I just do what I've done for the last 15 years and press the button on the screen because it's easier and faster. And if I need to change anything, I just do it on the screen because it's faster and easier.
Right, and you missed fewer shots. I don't know. Maybe that's the me problem, but I found that I was missing more shots by pressing that button because I was introducing camera shake or just moving the angle such that it just ruined the shot.
Yeah, and just reminding yourself to do it actually, because again we've had that little white button ingrained into our brains for the last 15 years. So it's just such a stupid thing. Although I can't think of what podcast it was I was listening to. I think it was John Gruber again. He said that he's got a theory that it's more about visual intelligence. You know, the thing that's coming in whenever it's coming. Is it December? As part of Apple Intelligence, where you hit that button. I think you long press it possibly, and it takes you into the kind of visual intelligence thing where you can point your phone at stuff and find out what the building is in front of you and all that sort of stuff. Which, okay, fair enough. Did we need another button for that? Probably not. But I don't know. I'll reserve judgment on that until that arrives. But in terms of a camera control, it's just utterly useless.
So what else is new? You've largely been in the country since we last spoke.
I have, yeah. I haven't been anywhere apart from in and around Warwickshire, which has been quite nice actually. Yeah, no trips. I went to London actually, to be fair, on last Thursday I think it was, to see MediaTek and their latest chip, which is not embargoed now, so I can mention it. Which is the 9400, the Dimensity 9400, which is their equivalent to Snapdragon's flagship mobile chip, and they're really bullish about it. They're really kind of as they would be, as you'd expect. But they're very. I think that one of the guys who spoke from MediaTek said this is their next phase of growth. This is kind of all guns blazing now, basically.
There are some sketchy rumours that it might make an appearance in the S25 Ultra.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, so I think someone asked that when we had this press conference with them, and they didn't say anything, obviously. But yeah, because they're in the Tab S10, aren't they? That's powered by MediaTek, I think, which is a nice foot in the door, I guess, if you're a chip company. So who knows? I mean, yeah, they didn't say anything, and I don't suppose they can, but it would be very interesting, wouldn't it?
It seems like everyone is trying to give less money to Qualcomm, aren't they? Because there are also the sketchy rumours that the rumoured iPhone SE will have an in-house modem.
Yeah.
Apple-designed modem. Actually, have you been following the rumoured iPhone SE refresh rumours?
Bits of it. I mean, it's been on and off. Have there been more recent rumours that I've missed, or...?
Yeah, all the noise seems to be around it basically being a gimped iPhone 14.
Right. Okay.
So it'll have a notch rather than a dynamic island, and but I guess it would have to have USB-C, wouldn't it? I don't know how they would. It's going to have one would imagine that it would have Apple Silicon that is capable of, an A chip that's capable of doing Apple Intelligence.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I wouldn't put it against them not doing that though. Only because if you think about the current SE, it's really old, isn't it? And they've sold that for ages. I found that in the drawer the other day actually. I bought the product red one. It's still a really nice looking little phone. I hope they do product red again. I hope that comes back. But
I've got one. It's my work phone. My work provided phone is an SE.
Nice. But I wouldn't put it past them not including Apple Intelligence. But who knows?
Well, maybe we won't have long to find out. Not sure. Or do you think they'll save that for spring? Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, going back to what's new, nothing else really. It's just been a very sort of busy time with Apple content, and I kept my AirPods Max. Still got them. Didn't send them back. That's not very exciting news at all, is it? What else?
Oh, you can tell that you're not jet lagged because you're looking much perkier today. Yeah,
I've had more sleep this week as well. I've got massive bags under my eyes. Yeah, it's just been a head down and cracking stuff out in that sounds weird. Working very hard in the studio. We're getting lots of content out at the minute. It's a good time to be a tech YouTuber, particularly if you work with Apple stuff, because there's an awful lot of interest in it. Although there's some very interesting non-Apple things coming up over the next couple of weeks, which are exciting.
Well, so let's get the exciting Apple things out of the way then, given that iPhones, all we did last time was moan about how disappointed we were with the iPhone 16, which I think was unfair on my part. It's only the Pro Max that's the big disappointment, I think. The Bogo 16 is actually pretty good.
It's a really good phone. Really good phone.
Basically a Pro without the tele lens, but because it's got the 48 megapixel sensor, you can crop in anyway to get tight. Although all you really need to do is zoom with your feet, and you'll be fine. So I think the iPhone 16 is a much better value device, and I can't see anyone being unhappy with it. Coming from a 14 or earlier, but I think the biggest news in the Apple world since we last spoke is these alleged M4 MacBook benchmarks. Have you seen these?
I have, yeah. And you've put here it's the worst leak since the iPhone 4, which is mainly because someone's actually got it, haven't they? Someone seems to have one of these MacBooks.
They're certainly giving the impression that they've got one. But their benchmarks have started showing up on the Geekbench, and it looks like it absolutely wipes the floor with all previous Apple Silicon in both single core and multi core, with the exception of the Ultra chips, which were ludicrous. Obviously, the M1 Ultra and the M2 Ultra. I haven't got the numbers to hand, but it looks like a real step up, which would make sense because I imagine it probably is a true generational leap where the M2 and the M3 was just sort of overclocked with extra stuff bolted on, weren't they? So I think they might have done something special. There's also sort of rumours that finally the base spec machines will come with 16 gigs of RAM, which I think is not overdue, isn't it?
I think that surely that would be the case now. I reckon that it's time, isn't it? I think they've had enough stick. They don't really care, do they? But they can at least get rid of that bad bit of PR, go for 16. It gives me less stuff to talk about if there's no 8 versus 16 anymore. But
they've Sherlocked our podcast.
They've completely ruined it. This is the last ever show because of this M4 release. Have to see what they do. It's exciting, isn't it? I can't get that excited about it from a personal perspective because I just don't need a MacBook Pro really anymore. I don't do any editing in this. I do very little editing these days, and the M3 one I've got in front of me is going to last for years. Are you tempted at all to get a MacBook Pro? Because you're not a MacBook Pro user, obviously, but I think you have been in the past. Would you be tempted if it was stupidly powerful?
No, because I don't need it. So my most powerful Mac at the moment is an M2 Pro Mac Mini, and I cannot make it fail. There's nothing I do, even when I really try. I can't make it not, because I kind of want it to. I want it to start feeling sluggish so that I've got justification to get a new one, because again, all the rumours are pointing to a facelifted Mac Mini, which I'd be quite excited about. If they roll out an Apple TV-esque Mac Mini, I'd be all over that, but I really can't justify it.
I
Do you
can't
remember
either.
one time we
I'm
did
gonna-
this podcast, I had a Windows 11 virtual machine running in the background that I'd forgotten to shut down.
Yeah, it's it is ridiculous. The M2 Pro Mac Mini is crazy. I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, it sounds like it, doesn't it? We're going to get something, I think, Mac Mini wise. Because I've got, same as you, I've got the M2 Pro embarrassingly sitting over there not being used. But if this new one comes out, I'll definitely get one. Probably spec it up a little bit as well and have it as a music production thing. I think that's the goal. Will we get different colours though? That's the question. Will we get a Larry orange one? Will we get iMac colours?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably not. We'll get silver and space black, won't we? Which actually, to be fair, space black Mac Mini, that'd be cool.
That would look great. Yeah, I still love an orange one though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the MacBook Pro. I think it is be perfect. The MacBook Pro M4. I think if you're waiting to upgrade, if you've got an M1, if you've still got an Intel MacBook, I mean, if these benchmarks are to be believed, then it's going to be a massive step up for those people, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but the M1's still so good. So my M1 MacBook Air, I've got no desire to upgrade that because it's my light use away from the desk, Mac machine. All the heavy duty stuff is done at the desk on the M2 Pro, and then for away, I don't need the power of an M2 Pro everywhere I go. And just in terms of the thinness and the lightness and the battery life, this is, I don't know how old this machine is now, but it still lasts. The battery life is still ridiculous on it.
Yeah, maybe 2020, won't it? Is that when you bought that? Or it'd be 2020.
Well, I didn't get it when it came out, I don't think, or did I? I can't remember. I think I got it. It's still some years old, but it still makes me happy every time I use it. So again, yes, I can't see myself being moved to get any portable Macs, but I would certainly be interested in a facelifted Mac Mini, I think.
Oh yeah, yes please.
What I wouldn't be interested in is anything to do with refreshed HomePods, which one would imagine they may or may not do, unless it's this sort of iPad Mini speaker dock, Pixel tablet and dock-esque implementation for getting a HomePod with a display.
Yeah, I just don't think it makes any sense to do anything with the HomePods until Apple Intelligence is at least out of beta and we've got the proper new Siri. Because what else would they do apart from supercharge Siri on these speakers? It is terrible. I mean, we've got the big HomePod now in the kitchen because we'd got fed up. I think the Pixel tablet was struggling for some reason with Jen. They just weren't getting on at all. So I brought the big HomePod back, and great for music, sounds fantastic, but Siri is just horrendous. Like so slow. I've just instigated it there. Here we go. Really slow. Doesn't respond. Gets confused when playing between different devices, and it's all over the shop. So I think anything they do with the HomePod has to be based on the new Siri and Apple Intelligence and all that stuff. Otherwise, why bother?
Yeah.
Unless you say unless it is some form of display based thing, which would be cool. It would be cool because it would have the existing Siri. So anyway.
Yeah. But it would, I don't know. You'd at least hopefully be able to have some evolution of nightstand, with your photos coming up and stuff. Because trying to use Echo Shows as a digital photo frame is pointless now because they just keep pumping other nonsense in. Did we mention previously that they've cancelled? They tried to get people to subscribe to pay $3 a month to use their show exclusively as a photo frame. Although they've scrapped that now. They can.
Oh really? No, I didn't know that.
But, do we think we'll see a bigger iMac?
No, I don't think we will. I think that they'll update it. They'll put the M4 chip in there, won't they? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be this year though, is it? I think the rumours is next year for that, early next year, along with the MacBook Air. I think they'll all get the M4 chip. I just can't see the big iMac happening. There's not been any rumours about it or any leaks, or I know leaks apart from this MacBook Pro thing. They're still very hard to come by, aren't they? But even bearing that in mind, I just don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah.
I still think the Studio Display plus the Mac Mini is what Apple wants you to buy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so well, in all their marketing for the iMac, it was kids and kitchens, wasn't it? That's who the iMac's for.
Yeah, yep, yeah. Kids and kids. It is though. I mean, it's great for that. It's a great machine for that. Speed bump Apple TV. That's the last one on the list here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mentioned it a few podcasts ago. I put it down to using the tvOS beta. I thought that maybe it was a bit glitchy because of that, but now that it's properly out, it still kind of stutters, and so in a way that it just didn't use. Don't get me wrong, it's still better than my Chromecast 4K, which is awful. But it's feeling sluggish now, I would say. I think you found a similar thing, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got one here and one at home, and they're both a bit jittery. They do strange things, and a speed bump would be nice. But again, I'd like it to be better in terms of assistance, because it's not. It still isn't. We're just using it. I think, like yourselves, we're just using it as a set-top box, basically, a way to get into Netflix and Disney Plus and all that sort of stuff. So,
looking forward to anything else?
Apple-wise, that's it, really, isn't it? I can't think of anything else.
So we've had the phones, we've had the headphones.
Oh, iPad Mini.
Yeah. You think that's
yes,
coming?
Yeah, it must be. It's got to be coming. There's been so many rumours about this now, and I think also certain retailers have had diminishing stock of the current version, and there's things that seem to be kind of pointing towards the 7 coming. The big question is what are they going to do with it? And I just hope it's not just a new chip, even if it's the M4 chip. I hope we get a ProMotion display. I mean, the biggest thing that I want, I've been a bit boring about this, the biggest thing I want is a mini Magic Keyboard. I'd love to turn that thing into a little notepad that I can sort of carry around. But again, who knows?
What are you using on your iPad Pro? Because you've got the Apple Magic Keyboard, but you've also got a Logitech Combo Touch. Which one do you actually take out with you?
I haven't got the Apple Magic Keyboard anymore. I sent that back, so it's just the Combo Touch. I sent back the cause I think I bought the white one, or was it the black one? I wanted the different coloured Magic Keyboard, so I sent it back. And just before I ordered it, the review for the Logitech came through. Started using that and haven't looked back since, really. I just love the fact you can detach the keyboard and do all that. I think I'd miss that if I went back to the Magic Keyboard.
Interesting. So I haven't looked recently. Can Logitech not sort you out with a mini Combo Touch for the iPad Mini? Not currently.
Can. Not the moment. There's no Combo Touch, is there? They do have key. Is it the keys to go? That thing. They're all a bit faffy, aren't they? Like there's bits you have to put together and stuff. And I'd love to see what Apple could do with that. I think they could. I think whenever I mention that on YouTube videos, enough people seem to agree that it would be a good idea to. I know it's only a very small selection of the market, but that's all I want, really. Face ID would be nice as well. So Face ID, ProMotion, and a mini Magic Keyboard, and obviously a new chip. That would be a lovely new iPad Mini, and some new colours, because why not?
Yeah,
probably won't do that though.
So
that's with Apple stuff, isn't it?
Well, for the hardware, in terms of services, there's been some quite interesting news. So the first fully immersive Vision Pro film just came out, didn't it? It's a short film. It's like 17 minutes long. It's called Submerged. You checked that out yet?
Not yet. Keep forgetting about it, but I will. I'll watch it this week. Is it definitely available now? Because I think last time I checked, it wasn't there.
I think it is definitely out now.
I'll see. The immersive films. Yeah, the immersive video is really, really smart. Like I said, I've not watched that yet, but I've watched the There's a one with Alicia Keys where you can kind of be in the studio with her and her band, which is a bit spooky. There's a moment where she kind of walks past you and looks at you, which is a bit weird, but it's very immersive. There's also one which kind of follows this woman who does like tightrope walking between mountains. That's interesting. But it's just so immersive. It's so impressive. So to have a 17-minute short film, because all the other stuff is very, very short. It's kind of 5 minutes long or whatever. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this is like.
And then there's the news that's, well, in the States to begin with at least, you'll be able to get Apple TV Plus via your Amazon Prime Video account, which seems like a very un-Apple move, but...
Yeah, how does that work? So you pay for Amazon Prime, do you? And then you get Apple TV Plus?
Well, you can do this already. There are loads of sort of add-on channels. Like, my missus is into horses. And if you wanted to watch one of the horse events, I don't know what it was. But if you oh, no,
dressage.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. So I think it might be the Olympic equestrian events. They weren't sort of broadcast on terrestrial TV, or they were in very small chunks. But yeah, if you wanted to catch all of the action,
Amazon had it, didn't they?
You could buy a subscription via Amazon Prime Video, and then you could watch other Olympic events that the BBC hadn't coughed up for. So yeah, so I've tried it. It's nice. You can just bolt on additional content into your, and then access it all through Amazon Prime. But what I never thought you'd see is the ability to get Apple TV Plus through that rather than directly. But I guess they want to get revenue from people that don't have Apple TVs, iPhones, and iPads.
Yep,
seems to make sense. Which means that more people will be able to catch Severance when it. The second season of Severance is officially coming out on the 17th of January next year.
Yeah, still haven't finished this first series.
Did you not watch the first one? I thought it was brilliant.
I know. Well, I did. We started it, and I think Jen wasn't really enjoying it. So one of those things where you're both watching it, and then one of you doesn't like it, so you just kind of stop watching it, and then you forget it exists, and then you keep seeing loads of people saying the last episode, and you think, oh, I need to watch it. So I will on my own watch it. I think finish off the first series and then dig into the second one, definitely.
What about Slow Horses? How did she get on with that?
Love it. Yeah, we love it. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Gary Oldman's just genius. I guess, are you up to date on that?
No, I haven't watched any of it yet. It's on, on the watch list.
Get on it. It's brilliant. It's happy. You'd love it. Yeah.
I've only heard good things about it. A big fan of Gary Oldman. So
he's so good in that. Yeah, so good.
Meta. Yeah. So you said you haven't been up to anything, or you haven't sort of left the office. That's not strictly speaking true, is it? Because I stumbled across you in Meta
in the metaverse.
Yeah. What's going on there?
I can't say everything on this. When does this podcast go live? Tomorrow? No, I definitely can't say anything. Okay. You can talk about it though. You can tell us what the news is.
So
there's a new headset on the way, isn't there?
Well, yeah. So you've got the Quest 3S, and also, well, so there was a Meta event, and with each passing year, and each sort of Meta event, I begrudgingly find myself actually quite liking what Meta are doing.
Yeah.
So it started with the Portals, which were genuinely good devices, and I'm sad that they're gone now. But then they brought out the smart glasses, which were surprisingly much better than anyone expected.
Yep.
And I mean, you've got a set, and you've sort of enjoyed using those.
They're brilliant. Yeah.
And then I got the Quest 3, and that's been fantastic. They just make good stuff. And Zuck, what's going on with Zuck? He's had some sort of makeover.
He's had that for a while. Yeah, he has had that for a while though, hasn't he? He's had that he's gone down the whole chain route, and he's been working out a bit. He's bulked up a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So he's hench. He sort of conducts himself in an almost human-like manner now. What's going on? He's sexy Zuck now.
You never want to hear anyone say that about you, do you? He now conducts himself in a human-like manner. I don't want anyone ever to say that about me. But you're right. He seems. You'd probably take him down the pub now, wouldn't you? I think I would.
Yeah,
I think
he seems all right.
I would actually. He could buy the
so he seems all right. Or certainly, perhaps Of
Very quickly, sorry, before I forget, have you seen what he's done with it? We'll have to try and dig this out for the show notes. Have you seen what he's done for his wife's Porsche?
no,
I spotted this briefly on TikTok the other day. It's worth googling. He bought himself I think a GT or something. But his wife wanted a more of a family friendly sort of car. And so he ordered her I think is it a Macan, the smaller kind of SUV thing. But he had it customized and turned it into like a 3-door, like a longer version of it. It's almost like a limo. It's like a limo version. He's just stretched it. I saw someone talking about it on TikTok saying, if I was a billionaire, this is exactly what I'd do. I'd buy a normal car and just demand that it's longer. For the wife, brilliant. But no, sorry, I digress. Where did we get to with Zuck?
he's So just of the social media CEOs, I think he comes across as the least evil now. He's the least worst tech billionaire, I think.
Yeah, he seems okay, doesn't he? I mean, who knows? But he seems fine. I watched a really interesting I think it was on a plane recently. I watched a really interesting documentary about him, and it showed him the way that he's changed from being that kid, at high school and through college and stuff, to what he is now. And all there's some really uncomfortable moments where he's thrown in front of massive audiences and sweating uncontrollably and all this sort of stuff. And to, like you say, to where he is now, where he's very confident and a genuinely interesting CEO, doing some really interesting things as well. So yeah, I'm kind of all for him at the minute.
Yeah, and he's making some good stuff, right? So I've got the Quest 3, and I've loved it. And they've now made that sort of more accessible with the Quest 3S, which is just a slightly stripped down version of the 3, or a slightly upgraded version of the 2, depending on how you want to look at this. I mean, it's got the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S. The differences are, well, let's start with the things that are the same. So they've got the same chip. They've got they've got color pass through, although with lower grade cameras. They've got the same controllers. There's a lower grade lens, so it's Fresnel lenses in the 3S versus the superior, more expensive pancake lenses in the full fat 3. It's got slightly lower resolution, slightly narrower field of view, but consequently better battery life because it's got lower resolution and it's less powerful, with just a 20% reduction in the pixels per degree, which is a very commonly quoted metric for sort of how sharp the image is. So obviously your golden standard is your Vision Pro, which is 34 pixels per degree. The Quest 3 is 25 and the 3S is 20. So I mean, I haven't used a Vision Pro. I'm sure it's fantastic, but the Vision 3 is plenty crisp enough. It's good. So to be 20% less than that, it's probably fine. It's going to be better than, say, like PSVR, I think. In fact, I should have looked that up. I don't know what the pixels per degree is on PSVR, but I reckon it's probably all right. So I think it looks good. So you can now get VR with a bit of mixed reality at an astonishing price. It's like 300 quid or something less.
It starts at 290 quid for the 128 gig version. And like you say, when you look at that, the difference in, well, the spec similarities, and you can pre-order this now, can't you? It's out there, but the similarities with the 3, same chip, same Snapdragon chip, same RAM, 8 gig, I think, isn't it? It's just slightly lower resolution and, like you say, lower pixels per degree, but it's not that much lower when you look at Vision Pro. And when you bear in mind Vision Pro is $3,500 and this thing is 290 quid.
Yeah.
And arguably, Meta have the kind of the head start with app availability, games.
Oh, the software library is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it does all the same stuff. I mean, I've used the 3 before. I went to Pete Matheson's and used it, and it's no different to Vision Pro in terms of walking around and pinning windows to the wall, and them staying resolutely in place, and all of the volumetric environments and stuff. It's no different to Vision Pro. Vision Pro is just kind of several leagues ahead in terms of the quality of the image, but it's $3,500, and it's really heavy. And when I tried the Meta Quest 3 at Pete's, I couldn't get over how light it was and how comfortable it was. And it's part of the reason I haven't watched that submerged thing is because I can't be bothered to put that thing on my face and have it on for 17. That's a bit unfair, but bearing in mind I did a live stream with it for, was it an hour and 27 minutes, I think it was.
We did a podcast with it as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean that wasn't like an hour, wasn't it? So I've done the miles, I've done the mileage in Vision Pro, but no, the 3S sounds amazing. I think, and also if you look at the website for it, it's kind of pitched towards people who perhaps haven't tried mixed reality yet, or maybe you've got a Meta Quest 2, and perhaps you just don't want to go and spend whatever it is, £500 on the 3.
Well, which is a price reduction. I think I paid $600 for mine when it first came out because I was all excited about it. So the Quest 3. So you now you can spend £300 to £500, and whatever you buy, you're going to have a good time. So just depending on your budget. And now it's just so accessible, I think, to so many people. And like you say, the software library is there. They've got the whole online ecosystem around it as well. The Meta Horizons or whatever it's called, which is how I stumbled across you. That's how I knew you were getting involved with the Meta, because you kept stum about that. I think it's a brilliant device. So you may or may not have a Quest device, but I know that you've got a Pico 4 Ultra.
Yeah, bear with me 2 seconds.
So I mean, the reason I bring that up is because when you produce some content about a Meta device that you may or may not have, I imagine that you would want to compare it to that.
Yeah, I only used this briefly. So Niall actually went to the press event for this, which was a few weeks back, and they've sent out to a whole bunch of YouTubers these review units. We've managed to hold on to this for a bit longer than they asked us to. We haven't stolen it; they allowed us. I haven't had a huge amount of time to use it, but yeah, this is the Pico. Again, if you're not watching this on YouTube, then you need to get involved, because this will make no sense at all on a audio only podcast. But I have the Pico 4 Ultra here, and it's similarly sized to Vision Pro.
It does look like a Wish.com Vision Pro, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, absolutely. It's more comfortable though. It is absolutely more comfortable, mainly because it's lighter by quite a margin. It has also got these motion trackers which go around your ankles, I think. Haven't tried those yet, but it's got the Meta Quest like controllers.
Very cool.
For both hands. Again, quality wise, having used this, it's several notches below Vision Pro, as you would guess, but still does the same stuff. And again, if you're new to VR and mixed reality, it's a nice little option. I think it's more expensive than the 3S.
Yeah, which I think kind of makes it a hard sell for me. I think if you want to dip your toe in the water of VR and mixed reality, I would say Quest is the way to go, because they just make it so easy.
Well, you've always spoke very highly of Quest, as lots of people have. So
yeah, but I mean, what isn't doing so well is HoloLens. Microsoft have cancelled HoloLens officially now. I mean, they've been talking about it for a while. They reckon they're going to support it to 2027. In fact, Microsoft are having a bad time generally at the moment, aren't they? So the last few Windows updates have all received quite a lot of bad press. But also the Surface Duo, that's just received its final software update.
Yeah.
And so when did that come out? 2021. So in 3 years, they managed one Android update. So that was it went from Android 11 at launch to Android 12L. That's pretty poor, isn't it?
Bad times.
What else did I want to mention? Oh, you can get Wordle So on on Quest, bizarrely, completely
Can you?
pointless, but I did stumble across that in some of the press stuff that you can get VR. I mean, it's just Wordle, but you enter your guesses in.
Is it
In VR.
VR? Is it
I mean,
volumetric or is it
no,
not?
no, it's just a two-dimensional Wordle board that's just floating in your living room. Completely pointless, but
Fair enough.
it amused me.
What more can you want?
Oh, there's this. Did you did you see the? No, hang on. No, we'll get onto that in a bit. So
Okay.
all this Quest stuff, I think, is merely a gateway drug to what Meta clearly think is the future, which is AR. In the next big,
Your glasses.
the next big tech revolution is going to be smart glasses, and they've already got quite a head start in that, and they've been doing quite a good job. But the new exciting thing that they showed off was the Orion.
Yeah.
Have you-
I've still not
Not
watched
that
that
much?
yet. I keep
you
seeing
not?
clips, but yeah, all that talk of love for Zuck, I've not even watched him talk about it yet. But
It looks genuinely cool. I mean, they're still way too big, but they're much closer to something that you could wear every day. So give it another few years, they'll get there. So it's made up of 3 parts. So you've got the actual spectacles. All of the compute happens on a wireless puck that's separate, and then they've got a wristband that they call the neural interface. So which allows you to just use your hands as controllers, essentially. So like on an Apple Watch 9 or later, you can do like the double tap by pressing your index finger and thumb together. It allows you to do sort of gesture-based interactions with your smart specs. It looks good. You won't be able to buy it for a long time. I think these prototypes cost $30,000 each to make, so it's a way off. But it's an exciting glimpse into the future, I think, and certainly a much better effort than the Snapchat 5th generation specs. Have you seen those?
I haven't. But let me have a quick look.
Click on. They're just hilariously bad. They should not exist. So I mean, Snap have been making smart spectacles since 2016, I think.
Dear.
You've just seen it.
Yeah, they look
What's
like
that about?
in Back to the Future where Marty goes into the diner for the first time, and what's his name comes in? What's the big guy? The baddie.
Oh, Biff.
Biff.
Tannen.
One of Biff's guys has got is wearing 3D glasses for no reason whatsoever. That looks like them,
Yeah.
but worse.
So I mean, in fairness, you can buy those. You shouldn't. But that's. I think they are representative of where AR baked into glasses is at this stage. If you're not spending billions in R&D and can make $30,000 prototypes as the Orion is.
I think we're just in a really interesting time, aren't we, for all this? It's either stuff like this or it's ridiculous looking things like the spectacles from Snapchat, or it's stuff that Meta's doing with these kind of concept glasses. Like you said, we're seeing the future. I mean, I think of my son. He's 2 years old, 2.5 years old at the minute. You can quite clearly see when he's 15, 16 what he's going to be using. It's just going to take a while to get there, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is, but Zuck is storming ahead.
Well, if he works as hard on this as he does on his pecs in the gym, then we'll get there in no time at all, won't we? This is getting weird now. We need to stop talking about it. Let's talk about Vision OS quick.
Yeah. Oh well, when you do get round to watching Submerged, you should be able to update to Vision OS too. I think you said
I've
you
done
did
that already.
Oh, you've done that. You're there.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing's different really. You can go to Bora Bora Island, which is very nice actually, and sit there for a bit and think it's lovely, and then take it off because it's too heavy. What else can you do? The one thing you can't do yet, which is again this whole thing. I won't get into it. I won't stop. But the whole thing about features not being ready. The thing I was really excited about was the upgraded MacBook display thing, where you can have a much wider display and it's got higher resolution and stuff. It's not ready yet. It's coming later this year. So the one thing that I was excited about with Vision OS, the one thing they have done, which is clearly a little Yeah, slightly, to put it mildly, inspired by MetaQuest is if you turn your hand, you get the little menu, the little control center thing, which is identical to what happens in MetaQuest. Yeah, apart from that, I think it recognises keyboards now. The Mac, the Magic Keyboard and the trackpad. I've not tried that yet. I just want the MacBook stuff to try, but
Yeah. Well, what you won't be able
it
to
can move
try
icons
is
around now. It's got jiggle mode.
oh yeah, the jiggle mode, brilliant. Yeah, what you won't be able to try is YouTube. You see YouTube demanded that Juno from Christian Selig, former developer of the Apollo Reddit client, he made a Vision Pro YouTube client that was all right. People seem to like it, but that's been pulled, so you can't use that anymore. Well, I think
It's
you
not
can
much
use
luck,
it
has it?
if you had it already. I imagine it'll still work until YouTube changed something at their end. But yeah, no, that's been pulled now. So he's very unlucky, isn't he, Christian Selig?
He's very unlucky, isn't he?
He builds these really nice apps that rely on another service, and then has his pants pulled down.
You get fed up with that. He must be at a point now. He's just thinking, no, not anymore. I'm done. Yeah, okay. What else have we got on the list before we wrap things up with something silly?
Well, there's a lot of exciting Android OS. Well, not official Android, but other manufacturers' takes on Android. So you can Nothing OS 3 has just launched in beta. If you've got a Nothing Phone 2A, if you've got Nothing Phone 2, you'll be able to use it in November, and then Nothing Phone 1 and CMF Phone will be able to try it in December. But you've got a 2A, haven't you?
Yeah.
So were you aware that OS 3 was out? Well,
I
out
saw
in beta
something
anyway.
about it. Yeah.
It looks very nice. They've really refined everything. They've dialed back that dot matrix font. It's still they're using it sparingly because it is cool. I do like it, but it was a bit like everywhere before, and it kind of got a bit too. So they've dialed that back, and they've got that the other Nothing font, the sort of very thin serif, Times New Roman-esque kind of typeface. They're using that a bit more. No, from what I've seen of it, it looks really nice. I don't have a 2A, so I can't try it, and I can't get my dad to try it because he's got a Nothing Phone 2. But yeah, it's one of the prettiest Android skins out there. I think I've always really liked what Nothing are doing.
Yeah,
and then they've got those wacky new open air over ear in-ear headphones.
Open ear earbuds.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah.
So if you don't get on with your Shocks bone conducting, or you didn't get on with the Sony donut ones, that's a viable option if you want to let more external noise in. But then you got like One UI 7 has been delayed. Did you tune in or receive any press information about the Samsung Developer Conference? So the Samsung Developer Conference happened since we last spoke, and they showed off what's happening with One UI 7. It's a full redesign. It looks really nice, actually. So, like one of the biggest things is they've now separated your notifications from your control, your quick settings.
Yep.
So it operates much more like an iPhone, where if you're on the right-hand side of the display, you'll get your quick settings, and if you're on the left hand, if you're swiping from the top on the left hand of the display, then you get your notifications. You can toggle it back, obviously, as you can customize everything in One UI, but that's the way they think things should go. And there's lots of really tasteful changes. So like the battery indicator is now like pill shaped, notifications are more rounded, and they spent a lot of time talking about more continuity between devices in your Samsung ecosystem. So they'll be on par with Apple continuity, where you can start something on one device and pick it up on the next, get your notifications everywhere, that sort of stuff. So I reasonably enthused about it, but it's been delayed. So normally we would expect One UI betas to be out now-ish, October, November. It's you're not even going to get it in beta until December, and the first full official way you'll be able to get your hands on it is by buying a Galaxy S25 Ultra or Galaxy S25. Yeah. So that's quite exciting. Actually, on the subject of software updates, so I've got a Magic V3.
Yep.
They put you can do circle to search on that now.
Have you used it much?
I'm using it all the time. I would have it as my daily, but I've got the Apple Watch 10, which is kind of keeping me on my iPhone for the time
iPhone.
being, because I'm really enjoying using my. In fact, I got a fine woven band to see if it's as terrible as everyone says it is.
Is it any good?
It's not horrible. I don't hate it so far. We'll see how it holds up, because
See how it
the cases started looking ropey very quickly. But yeah, no. When I went into the Apple store to return the thing, return the iPhone 16 and the case, I just saw it and I thought, right, I've not got any experience with fine woven. Obviously, everyone panned it for the cases because it just didn't feel nice, didn't look nice, didn't wear nicely. But they've kept it on for the wallets and the band, so I guess those are subject to less wear and maybe don't look quite as hideous over time. So yeah, so I just got one in, but new. It's quite soft. It's quite nice, because I tried all of this. I wasn't particularly enthused about any of this season's colours.
Yeah, I don't like the night. I've got the Nike band. I don't like the Nike band. I wasn't sure about it when I ordered it. I'm not keen on the design of it. It's really comfortable, but
it is comfortable. But it's also quite scratchy. It's nowhere near the quality of the Apple Watch Ultra fabric band.
No, not at all.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
So I tried on a bunch of the current bands, and I wasn't really moved by any of them. But then this was the one that I hated the least, so I thought I'd give it a go, see how I get on. One good thing about this versus the old leather loops, I don't know if you remember the OG leather loops, is they were quite clacky. So if you sort of moved,
I never had one actually, but I know what you mean. I think I might have tried a friend's or something, but I know what you're referring to.
The magnets sort of clack, but then this is good. Yes. Anyway, I can't really complain about it. It's fine. But so the Magic V3 has got Circle Search, and the stylus. Have you got a Magic V3, or did you just borrow one for a bit?
No, I've still got it, but no stylus.
Did you get that? You didn't get the full pack.
No.
So look at that. That's this. So I'm holding up the Honor stylus.
Nice.
And it's
like a pen.
Well, it does.
Like a posh. Oh, the fire alarm's going off now.
Oh, brilliant.
Just a test, don't worry, nothing's on fire. I'm surprised that's not happened before on the podcast.
Yeah, so this, you compare that to the S24 Ultra smelly pen. That's what the S stands for. This is really nice. And the thing about it is that it works on the internal and the external display, unlike the Fold. Is your alarm still going?
I'm waiting for the alarm to stop. It will stop. Keep talking.
I don't know what else to say, really. Just I'm really enjoying the Magic V3. The stylus is lovely, and I would use it as my daily if it weren't for the fact that the only smartwatch on the Android side that I have at my disposal is the Galaxy Watch 6, which hasn't received an update since June or July or something. I mean, where's One UI Watch 6? That should be here. It isn't. It's allegedly coming soon. But also, I've got a Unity Atom streamer thingy, which works beautifully. Works beautifully with AirPlay and streaming direct from services, and it supports Chromecast. But it's so unreliable, and this is not a problem with the Atom. I don't think it's a problem with the Magic V3, because it's just as bad on the S24 Ultra, and it's just as bad trying to stream to my Chromecast. And I'm pretty sure it's not my network either, because I've got an Orbi mesh system which is set up properly. I don't have this issue streaming from one device to another with any other protocol or inter-device situation within my house. So it's annoying, because I really would like to use it every day. I think it's a fantastic device.
Like you say, you just kept from it by something else, aren't you? That's the problem. Okay. Before the alarm goes off again, I was slightly worried something might have been on fire then, but I don't know.
I didn't particularly go on a bit too long.
It's slightly longer than normal. Let's do a silly thing.
Hang on, sorry. Before we move on from the Android stuff, I'm still waiting for the bonkers 50-watt wireless charger to be available in the UK. So Honor have got a 50-watt wireless charger, which just sounds hilariously over the top. So I really want to get one of those, and I should be able to get it for not very much money. But my order was delayed because I pre-ordered it within an hour of it going live, and then they bumped it to however long, and so anyway, it arrived later than it was supposed to, but it still arrived earlier than they said it was going to. But in any case, they'd already given me a 50 quid voucher, so I should be able to get one of those chargers when they become available for 50p. But the most exciting thing about Honor is their ecosystem, the Magic Ring and the Magic Portal. Have you seen those?
Played with it a bit, yeah, with the not with the V3, but with the the phone before that, the other one. But yeah.
So Magic Ring is where you can use any device from any other Honor device, but the Magic Portal is just a cool sort of dock on the Magic V3 where you can drag and drop something from one app into another app via this sort of dock that pops up. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you try that?
Yeah, I've not. Again, I didn't try it with the V3, but I think the V2 I tested it a bit on there. Yeah, very really interesting way of doing that kind of between app things. Just makes it more fun, and it's called the Magic Portal, which is great. That's always going to be.
So one more moan is autocomplete on Android is still dreadful, even if you use one password or what I think one password is the least worst. I've tried Proton Pass. That's not too bad, but it is not as reliable as one password. But just none of them are. None of the password managers on Android will reliably fill stuff in, and it gets even more irritating with things like sort of autofilling two-factor authentication codes. So one of the things that I really enjoy on iOS is that it will just magically pull out 2FA codes that have been texted to you, that have been emailed to you, and fill it in, and it'll delete the original email or the original text without you having to do anything. It's just that seamlessness. In day-to-day use on the V3 or S24 Ultra or any Android phone, just that friction that you don't have on iOS kind of spoils it.
Quality of life stuff. That's what we want, really. Let's do a silly thing.
That's
Nintendo alarm clock. I think I saw this this morning.
This?
I think so. Let me just double check. I said, what is it? Is it what I think it is? Is it the Wake Up to a World of Games? So it's basically a clock which plays themes from Nintendo games, doesn't it, to wake you up?
Well, it does, but it's also got some fun. It gamifies waking up, essentially, is what it does.
Which we all need that, don't we? We all need to have everything gamified, including when we actually get up. It's a cool little thing, though.
It is. So it's called the Alarmo. The problem is it costs 90 quid. It's an alarm clock.
90 quid?
90 quid. And you can, at the moment, you can only buy it if you're a Nintendo Online subscriber. They will make it available to others next year. But yeah, so if you want to spend 90 quid on a Nintendo themed alarm clock that gamifies waking up, then you can now.
You've got to be a proper fan, haven't you, for that?
Wow, the thing is, I am. So I think I'm probably going to get one.
Of course you are.
But if you're not a Nintendo fan and you want to spend a little bit less money on a cool sort of retro alarm clock, you can now get a clock-sized retro Casio watch clock.
Nice.
Have a click on
I like
that.
the sound of that.
So you remember the classic Casio digital watch that everyone had when they were 12?
Yep.
You can now get that in giant alarm clock size.
Okay.
Only in Japan. You'd have to
I was going to say this is a Japanese site,
but it is about 30 quid.
Nice. It's just a big version of that watch, isn't it?
It is.
I'd have one of those.
Yeah. So it's just an alternative, silly, vaguely techie clock.
Hasn't got the best product name, has it? DQD851J8JF. That's what it is. Out of the two, I think if that's 30 quid, I'd have that over the Mario.
Yeah. So you'll be able to order those from the 25th of October. So yeah, but you would have to. Yeah, they're only available in Japan, and it will set itself from radio broadcasts in Japan. That obviously won't work anywhere else in the world, so you would have to set the date and time yourself. But yeah, no, I think that would make a fun prop, wouldn't it, on your crap shelves?
It tells you the temperature as well.
Oh, it's got thermometer, hygrometer. It's the useful clock that looks cool.
the three features they've pulled out, one of them is know the temperature, the other one is easy to see in the dark, and the other one is the correct time can be displayed. That's reassuring, isn't it? It can tell the time correctly.
Well, I mean, you're looking at the link that I put in the show notes is a Google Translate.
Has it been translated?
Yeah.
It looks like it's been translated. But no, I like that. So when we next kind of hop onto this podcast, you'll at least have one of those Mario alarm clocks.
I probably will, yeah, to be fair.
Needs to happen. Right, okay. In that case, I'll probably see you in the metaverse, and we'll catch up there.
All right, see ya.
Cheers. We're still live. I keep forgetting we're live streaming. I need to end the stream. Bye.